Right, we're going to see if this stream is going out correctly. Second. Yes, my dashboard is up and running, so excellent. Right, I haven't got the chat open, so if anyone's going to try and chat to me, I am not going to be able to see it. Hi, I'm Stewie3D, and for those of you who were watching my channel last night, my last stream was, well, terrible. The cutscenes, smooth as anything, but then the gameplay, the action was just really jerky. It looked like a bloody slideshow. And I didn't realise, because I was flying blind, I only had the chat open. I didn't have the restream dashboard. I weren't monitoring it. So I had viewers, and nobody mentioned that the stream had gone like crap. So I didn't realise until after I'd finished the stream and just had a quick look back to see how it went, that OBS wasn't working right. Well, done a bit of diagnosis just after, because I had changed a lot of my settings to be able to use a lower bitrate for Twitch, including changing my frames per second down to, as you can see, 29.97. So I did some experimentation after the stream just to see what was gone wrong, and yeah, I couldn't figure out what the hell had caused it. And I noticed one thing, because Skazius was helping me, he was commenting as well, and I use full screen app capture, which is, as you can see, a black screen, because I've got no full screen app open at the moment. And he said, try desktop capture. Well, I went to go onto desktop capture, and that was also a black screen. Rather than what you see now, desktop capture was a completely black screen. And I was like, wait a minute, I've seen this before. OBS isn't working right, but I have actually seen this one before. And it goes back to when I basically, when I was experimenting with the Nvidia drivers, I basically, one time, because I had a few games what wouldn't... Sorry, that's my child. Yeah, basically, yeah, I had it before where I had a few games what weren't older games what weren't opening on the Nvidia GPU by default. So what I went and did is in the Nvidia control panel is I told everything to open on the Nvidia, just ignore the Intel altogether. Well, what that did is cause problems with OBS, and it's the way Nvidia's Optimus works. Basically, how it works is the Intel GPU is there for low power applications. So if you're just sitting there, you know, using the web browser, everything else, yeah, everything is rendered on the Intel, and then only games and high performance 3D stuff is then rendered on the Nvidia graphics. Well, what happens is, the way Optimus works is basically everything goes through the Intel GPU, unless I'm connected up via the HDMI port. So anything on the internal screen all has to go through the internal GPU, the Intel GPU. And basically, when you run a game, the Nvidia GPU renders it, feeds it through to the Intel, and then the Intel displays it on the screen. And that is what happened. I'd installed an Nvidia driver update recently, and I always do a what's called clean install when I do it. And what that does is it completely removes anything Nvidia related, gets rid of all your settings, puts everything back to factory default, and then reinstalls the new version. And obviously, what had happened before, the OBS always used to open on the integrated graphics. Well, on this driver update, what has then happened is it, as you can see, use global setting, auto select Nvidia GPU. Well, because of the way Nvidia, as I said, the way Optimus works, that wouldn't allow me to switch to the desktop capture. It would only allow me to use the full screen capture. Because obviously, when it's opened up on the Nvidia GPU, it cannot see what the Intel GPU sees. And because it was opening up on the Nvidia GPU, the scene rendering, whenever the game was hitting 100% GPU usage, it was causing the frame drops. Whereas obviously opening it on the Intel GPU, doesn't have that issue, because obviously the Intel GPU, when you're gaming, the 3D basically sits at nothing. It barely gets used. As you can see, I'm using 14% of my 3D now, and that is because, if I just pop open OBS there and then switch back, OBS is using that GPU. So imagine that 18% then being put onto your Nvidia GPU whilst you're running the game, which is maxing out said GPU. Hence, you end up with the slideshow that I had for an hour and 44 minutes last night. And if you ever see that again, any viewers who watch this, if you see that again on my streams, don't hesitate to flag that up in chat. I will action it straight away. But yeah, I'll be a bit more mindful when I install Nvidia updates now. But yeah. So, yeah, so I've now switched it back to the Intel GPU, and everything is all back to being fine and rosy. I tested it last night, silky smooth action again. And yeah, literally, it's because, yeah, it switched over to the Nvidia GPU, because the way OBS runs, it's brilliant, because you can abuse multiple GPUs. So basically, in the settings, if I go in the settings there, and then go on the output, you can see I'm using the NVNC H.264 encoding block. So that's part of the GPU on the Nvidia side. I would use Intel QuickSync, but that throws up an issue with Android TV for some reason. My streams become unplayable on my Sony TV if I use QSV. The settings could be identical, but yeah, if I use QSV, it won't play on the Android TV. So I use the Nvidia encoding setting. As you can see, it's using a specific separate part of the Nvidia GPU, which doesn't get affected by games. This is the bit what, say, Shadow Play and stuff works on, or if you're using Steam in-home streaming, this video encode part is a separate, dedicated part of the GPU, which is used specifically for that reason. And as you can see, I'm using 6% of it, rendering out this stream as we speak. However, what it's using on the 3D side of the Intel one is, as you can see, I've got all my watermark, the chat as hello Jerker, just as I say it. Yeah, so all the chat, the watermark, whatever you're seeing being captured is being captured through the Intel and then rendered out via the Nvidia, and that for me, I've noticed, gives me the best sort of performance, with the least performance hits in games. So yeah, and then obviously if you have OBS opening up and rendering, yeah, using the Nvidia side of things, you then ended up in a situation where you had what I had last night, and you get a slideshow. So the quick fix, and I did just gloss over it, but the fix would be, if your OBS is having the issues I had last night, go into your Nvidia control panel, give it a few seconds to load, and then go into your Manage 3D settings, go Program Settings, and bear with it a second, it just takes a second or so because it has to populate your apps, and then select the OBS from the drop down menu, and then choose there, and then you've got the global setting, or you've got, then you can force it to use whichever graphics card you need to use. So you want to use the integrated graphics, and then as I said, what that then does is puts all of OBS's rendering, like processing demands onto the Intel GPU, which when you're playing games doesn't get used, and then yeah, then it renders out via the encode block on the Nvidia. So now I know what caused my issues last night, and Jerko, if you're still watching, next time you see my stream, go like a slideshow like it was last night. Let me know, mate. I didn't realise the stream was absolutely terrible. So if it goes like that again, you need to let me know. So, yeah. So that's basically it. Make sure OBS is running on the integrated graphics under the Nvidia control panel, and then you can render out exactly how you had it before. So, as I said, in my case, I use the Nvidia encoder to encode the stream, but then the Intel to create all the scenes and stuff. Hopefully this little stream has been informative and helps out, and I'm going to try and get another stream on the go. I don't know if it'll be tonight or it'll be tomorrow. I'll resume Assassin's Creed 3. Thankfully, I was only an hour and 44 minutes into it, and it was just the boring sort of tutorial-y bits. So it's about to start to get interesting. So losing the first hour and a bit isn't too much. Too much of an issue. So yeah, I'll be resuming Assassin's Creed 3 at some point, and now with working and coding, you're not going to be watching a slideshow. So hopefully this helps anyone, and yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.